Hey guys! So wanted to come on here give you a bit of a review of another Tales, very mature Tales NFSW adult story. This one again is done by Cyborg Fox, known as the and I don't know why people's and I do apologize for that. That is the somebody's car alarm's been going on off. I don't know if it's because kids are touching it or something. So I do apologize for that. But like I said, I wanted to come on here and talk about this new one by the Cyborg Fox, or as he's known at InkBunny.net as the ThatOneTailsWriter. Yeah, that's his name at InkBunny.net, and I think other places. You know, he's known as Cyborg Fox in some areas. Other places like Ink Bunny, he's known as That One Tails Writer, and I think you know why he calls himself that. But this one is called Queen's Relief. It's part of a little series of individual stories he does of Tales and the Girls of Mobius. And it involves Queen Alicia, Sally's mom from the Archie Comics. And let's just say this queen. So I want to balance things out here a little bit. There we go. Let's just say this queen is insatiable when it comes to wanting to, really get it on. Because basically, long story short, she and her husband have to have the pipes fixed, have to have their heating pipes fixed, and Tails comes over to fix it. Now Tails is of age, in this story. He is of age in this story. Like I said, he is of age in the story and all that. And he comes over, to fix the pipes and everything. But what he's not aware of is there's another situation that he's going to be required to fix, and that is Alicia's, I guess you could say, sexual, wanting to, get screwed badly situation, and that's exactly what happens. Basically, he does what he does what he has to do, but over time, but it's during this that she kind of seduces him a little bit. Like she starts to come on to him, and then she decides, okay, I guess she decides he's dirty. I have to go back and read this, but she kind of decides to have him join her in a bath, because he's worked, and obviously, she wants him to clean off the dirt and everything. And so anyway, she comes on to him. Basically, she asks him if he can wrap her tails around her because she's cold and everything, in which he does apparently. But you know, but anyway, but anyway, basically, again, she just comes on to him and all that. She comes on to him a little bit. So, and over time, she doesn't, she doesn't really start hiding how much she's coming on to him. And she basically says, essentially, she wants to reward him for fixing the pipes and keeping her warm. And one of the ways is to give him a little show, like a little strip show, and then to also take a bath with her. And then that's when things start to really get out of hand. And Tails, of course, like in a lot of these stories by Cyborg Fox, that one Tails writer, if you will, he tries to back off because he's like, I'm not too sure. But she kind of, coax him into. I wouldn't say coax. What's that word they use? She kind of flirts it out. I'll put it this way: she kind of flirts it out of him, seduces it out of him to stay and take a bath with her. And essentially, as he's, soaping her up, cleaning her, and vice versa, things start to really get a little steamier than as usual. And basically, she decides, she wants to do the thing. She wants to do the thing with Tails. Tails, of course, is a little reluctant, but she assures him, "Oh, Max won't find out. Believe me." And over time, he starts to kind of get into it. He starts to get into it and everything. Know that, and she kind of tries to BDS him, lightly BDS him by punishing him by saying, "You're gonna stay here and soap me up," and everything. It's just a, if you read these stories, it's basically, if you've read these stories by Cyborg Fox, or that ThatOneTailsWriter, then you kind of know that, this is kind of a direction they go with Tails and these MILFs. These MILFs are the girls, that might be a little older than him or something like that, or might be wanting to just do the thing. Tails a little reluctant, but over time he gets more into it and more into it and more into it, to the point that it finally just, is too much for him, and this primal, unhinged beast of mating, if you will, this primal unhinged beast of mating just suddenly takes over, and Tails becomes an animal. Literally, he becomes a legitimate animal, and that's what happens here. He, it's they get to a point to where Alicia just finally said something to him, or does something to him, physically and vocally, and it's just enough to tip him over the edge, and he's like, "Okay, wild side of me, take over. She's all yours." And that's what he does, and that's what happens. And because she teases him by calling him a predator, and she's prey, and again, it's just enough to finally tip him over, and him saying, "Okay, wild side, take over." And that's what happens. The wild side takes over, and he starts really getting into her, if you know what I mean. He starts really getting into her. He starts growling lustfully and saying things to her like, "Hey, you call me a predator? Well, you know what us predators like to do? We like to take what's ours, and I'm going to make you mine," and everything. And he just starts really just railing into her, to the point that he's slapping her butt and everything, and all that, making her scream out how much she wants it, things like that. And she's doing that. She's screaming out how much she wants it, and how she wants him to use her as her toy, in certain ways, with certain language, vulgar language, if you know what I mean. But yeah, she just wants him to, have it. She just wants him to have his way with her, and he does. And that's basically how the story is. They just go on in the bath, doing the thing, and that until the big climactic moment, and that's about it. That's about it. But what's interesting is after Tails leaves, because he kind of calms down, he gets back to normal. So anyway, what happens is after he leaves, Max comes back. Maximilian, King Max, Sally's dad from the Saturday AM cartoon and the Archie comics, Alicia's husband, because he was called away on a meeting, with another king and queen of another kingdom, on Mobius. So what happens is he comes in, he notices that the heat's back on, that the pipes are working again. Alicia seems a little annoyed, like, "Well, why didn't you tell me something was up in the first place?" And Max apologizes, saying, "Oh, well, I didn't have time to do that because I had to rush to this meeting." But anyway, the long story short, we find out that there's a little twist at the end of the story. We find out that Max knows or knew. Let me kind of rephrase that. The twist we find at the end is that Max is in on this. He knows everything that Alicia does with anybody, any male or female that she encounters for a passionate night or day. He knows about that because he himself does it very similar with some females, maybe some males. Not really. I'm not judging. But he but he also does it as well. So she's aware of what he does, and what it is apparently is like a little game to them. Like, how many people, how many Mobians that they know of, male and female, can they bed? I guess, um, in the long run, like before they really can't do it anymore. And that's the twist. Like I said, that's the twist at the end. They both are aware of what the other does, and the excuses or reasonings they come up to do it. Like, obviously Max. Sorry about that, but like I was saying in closing, they basically kind of know what each other are doing. It's like a little game to them, as I mentioned. Like, who can they get with the most? Like, or who can they get with before they're too old to do it? Um, and yeah, that's kind of a unique little twist, out of all the other stories that go in this direction with Tales, because it's like, it's heading to that direction and everything, and it's either gonna have him be like, not primal, but really get into the moment, and just be like, yeah, I like that. Let's keep going. Let's do more. Or it's gonna result in him becoming a beast. Just being like, I'm gonna claim you. I'm gonna make you mine, and all that. So yeah, it's a nice little twist there. And apparently, the guy that commissioned him or requested the story from him wanted that twist in there, because we had not seen anything like that, I guess, to where the individual that's doing the deed with Tails, assumingly behind their opposite's back, if you will, or the better half's back, apparently the person that requested this story wanted that twist in there, if you will, to make it seem like, hey, even though the better half doesn't know what you're doing, or doesn't seem like they know what you're doing behind their back, they are pretty much aware, because they're in on it, because they're doing the same thing. So yeah, it's a nice little trick, nice little bow right there. So that's really all I can say on it. But yeah, I just wanted to come on here and give you a little bit of this review. I might provide a link down below so you guys can check it out in the description. But yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. Let me know what your thoughts are if you follow the Cyborg Fox, or as he's otherwise known in other places, ThatOneTailsWriter. Let me know what your thoughts are on some of his other stories. What did you think of them? And that's all I'm gonna say. Super chats are open, live chat. If you haven't already donated, I should have told you that from the beginning. Super chats will be open. And yeah, that's all I'm gonna say, guys. You can also check me out at BW Rose's Discussions, all your favorite audio podcast locations except for Pandora. But more specifically, check me out at Spotify. That helps me out a lot. If you follow me there, the more you follow me there, the more it gives me an opportunity to open up the ambassador ads, which will be a big help. Also, check out the Teespring store for merchandise you can't get anywhere else. Check me out at patreon.com, says BW Roset, to help me there. Also, check me out at deviantart.com, says BVW1979. And until next time, guys, I will talk to y'all later.